Hello. Walter here. We got some updates. Number one, Vultures dropped. It was pretty good. I think it was pretty good. Give it like a 6 out of 10. It was fine. Anyways, the Niners also lost, which was super disappointing because they lost in like the last 3 seconds. Super, super sad. Anyways, we got the scoop. Here's the scoop for today. As you know, there is a shooter in Lakewood. There's a church, a mega church, that was shot up by this person here. This mugshot you can see by renowned Twitter accounts. Libs of TikTok posting this. The Lakewood shooter was transgender. Watch how quickly this story disappears. I look at this and I think, okay, transgender shooter. Definitely interesting. Gotta look into that, right? We had a transgender transsexual shooter previously. Seems like a hate crime, very racist person who wanted to like kill white Christian kids, which is a very terrifying thing, someone to be motivated to do that. But so this is kind of like part 2 of that. Not really, because I don't think this person's actually transgender. This whole thing seems like a huge psyop. This doesn't seem like a transgender person. The only real substantial evidence, all the evidence supporting the transgender theory, and yes, I'm saying theory, is that this person used male aliases. But I don't think that that doesn't equate to transgenderism. And I think you need something much stronger than that, or else this is a huge reach. The mainstream media is not reporting these facts because it's not a fact. Because you say it's a fact, but it's not a fact. It's not a fact, and that's a fact. But I hate this because I comment on all these posts, I say, I don't consider this to be substantial evidence that this is a transsexual. And I say, if there's another piece of evidence to substantiate this, I get the gun said like Palestine on it or whatever, and that's, its thing in itself, but that has nothing to do with transgenderism. So this doesn't seem like a transgender shooter necessarily. It's possible they are transgender, but looking at the evidence we have, it's really bold and honestly offensive statement to make. Don't think you should just assume this kind of stuff just because based on like aliases. Here's a post we have. Another transgender terrorist targeting Christians. Oh wow. Identified as transgender woman, free Palestine written on gun. Wow, that's interesting. So I actually looked up this article, right? As really just this isn't even like a fact check. This is just a surface level, like read the article, which I always think it's like super gay when we just post like headlines online, and it's like, that's it. You don't want to actually read the goddamn thing. So I looked up the article, and here's me replying to this. You didn't Photoshop the article, because when you actually click on this article, this does not match up with this post at all. Lakewood church shooting identified as transgender woman. Notice how that's highlighted. Transgender woman. That's not what the article says at all. It says Lakewood church shooter identified as Janice Ivan Moreno. Like, completely, this is perjury, man. I mean, if I was Fox, this is like grounds to like sue someone. The only thing that I want to hold out is that I want to hold out like charity for this person, because it says it was updated the same day. So it's possible, though I really doubt it, that it said this in the title and then they later changed it to this. So it really seems like there isn't conclusive evidence of transgenderism, which kind of begs the question, like, why? And I think the answer is obvious. It's to fit a narrative here. It's to fit a narrative that, like, transgender people are, like, psychopath killers, shouldn't own guns. Male aliases. Is that really transgenderism? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. And this is kind of the thing, right? That both the left and the right do wrong. It's like, and the right. Let me just clarify. The right do this reactionarily, and this is kind of a recent phenomenon, that characteristics that could have been considered like, oh, maybe you're just a feminine guy or a tom girl, right? Which were pretty progressive identities to have in the past. Well, now that's not just, you're not just a tom girl, you're a transgender man. That's the social psyop right there. And so that sucks that when the left does that. But then you have the right, which will respond in kind of the same way with this, where it's like, use a male name. Well, you're not just potentially even just a masculine woman. Guess what? You're a man. Yeah. So I'm disappointed that we can't have like honest conversations about this kind of stuff, because there's just always some. I mean, this is just lying, honestly. A lot of the stuff I see online right here. I just need to see more evidence that this is like a transgender person. I can't just go off these aliases. I think that's ridiculous. And I think it's reaching leaps and bounds just to fit a political narrative. I guess it's like kind of people dogpiling on like misinformation here. The transgender shooter, again, I don't really see any evidence of this being transgender, but I suppose this kind of stuff happens on Twitter, happens online, and it's going to keep happening. It's disappointing though, it really is. Here's the takeaway today. Whenever you look at it like something that's really harmful, really just everything in life actually, doesn't even have to be harmful, you should apply as much charity to it as possible, right? Essentially steel manning everyone, because it's horrible to assume the worst of people, and it's honestly not great. We gotta hope for the best, but don't expect the worst out of people, because that's cruel. It's cruel, and it'll get you nowhere. And if people expect the worst out of you, then you'll find that you are in a world of suffering as well. So let's all get along, guys. Let's all get along, okay? Thank you. I'm working on some videos, so please be patient with me. Walter out.
Walter, remember when the world was young and all the girls knew Walter's name? Walter, isn't it a shame the way